Talk. Talk. Talk to me Tuesday. Hey there, welcome to Talk to Me Tuesday on a Tuesday. I'm your host, Madi B. And today we have a special show, but we haven't been on the show in a while, about 2 weeks already. And we are super delighted to have you on today's show. Now it's fall time, the autumn is here. There's a bunch of stuff happening, but today we're really going to hone in on having a special guest talk about their relationship with their company. Relationships are very important, whether it's with an individual, with a company, with your career. And I think it's such an honor to have today Marcela Jackson, who is D. Miller and Associates Operations Manager. So welcome.
Hi, thank you.
We are super happy to have you here because yesterday we discovered that you're one of the oldest employees. When I say that, I don't mean that by age. I mean that by years with the company. Yesterday, you turned 17 years old with D. Miller and Associates. And I think this is such a highlight. I just want to ask you, how does it feel to be with a company for so long?
It feels good. I was excited to officially be 17 years old in D. Miller years. So, yeah.
Yeah. So look, we're very excited to have you on as a guest because we really are going to, hone in on your relationship with this company, what it's meant to you, your journey, your career path. I think it's beautiful to hear everyone's careers path, but you also can enlighten someone that's looking to start a career or is in their career trying to push for another 5 years. So, without further ado, I want to kind of ask you and take you back 17 years ago as of yesterday, the day that you applied to D. Miller and Associates and you got hired, and what brought you to D. Miller and Associates? What were you doing? Like, take us back to that moment.
Wow. Yeah, that was so long ago. Okay. So 17 years ago, I applied for a receptionist position at D. Miller. And I was really nervous. I needed the job. I was working at the time at an insurance agency as a receptionist, and it was on the north side, which is really far from where I was living at the time. I was on the southwest side. So I was like, I need this job. It's so close to me. My car had been broken down at that time. I didn't have transportation. I was like, I needed somewhere that I could commute by bus. I was a single parent with 3 kids. I needed this job. That's where I was at when I applied. So.
Yeah. And I know you probably remember it like it was yesterday. And, I don't know if you remember the details, like from what you were wearing to the minute you walked in the door. I remember your feelings on being nervous, right? But everyone always remembers that moment when they take that leap of faith, right? And look, 17 years, it was something that was destined for you. So tell us about that first time that you walked in for your first day. At this point, you've already gotten the job. Let's talk about how you felt when you got the news that you got the job.
I don't remember what I was wearing. But if I can, deep away in my archive of memories, my 24-year-old self just had this overwhelming feeling of excitement. I was kind of proud that I had landed this job. Like, hey, I'm working at a law firm. Yes, it's a receptionist position, but I'm going to work at a law firm, right? Mm-hmm. So I was super, super exciting. I felt like that I had been given a new opportunity, and I knew that I had to make my family proud, and this was my chance to do it. I just felt like I had my foot in the door, and I knew at that moment that the sky was the limit. I know it sounds like really cheesy, right, to think that way, but at that point in my life, like I really needed that break. And, like I said before, I was a single parent. of 3 kids, and the struggle was real. So I was like super excited that day. I was ready for the new beginning.
Yeah. Yeah. And look, being ready for a new beginning is very important. And I know I kind of want to, there's a lot of people right now that are making a shift in their career, that are applying to new jobs. And, walking in on your first day of your job, right, is nerve wracking. So do you remember, that feeling that you had, or if someone welcomed you with open arms, like what was that feeling that you had when you walked in for the first time at D. Miller and Associates?
Well, our company was really small back then. I want to say that we had maybe 6 to 10 people at the law firm in total, and 3 of them, maybe 4, were attorneys, and the rest support staff. So um, I remember just getting there and just being so nervous and just kind of putting my head down and just zoning in on what my job was. And then, of course, as the days continued, weeks continued, I found that everyone was really friendly and welcoming, and there was a lot of people just starting as well. And as a matter of fact, fun fact is that our partner, Ramesh Raguthaman, we actually started that same month of each other, within, I think, that same month. So we kind of grew up together. And so now we're family. But yeah, he was one
That
of
is
the.
so awesome. And look, you've been an employee that has been with the owner and the managing partner for a long time. Again, 17 years. That's a lot of time and a lot of dedication, and you learned a lot. But at that moment when you were there, or even a little bit after that moment, what made you say, or when did you know that you wanted to stay with this company for the long run, as a long-term thing? What clicked to you where you're like, oh yeah, this is it?
Well, I would have to say, like, over the course of the first few years that I worked there, that I noticed that Darren was really big on family, and helping people and teaching them and helping them get to the next level. And more importantly, allowing people to grow with no limitations. And that to me is big because, you don't get that in a lot of companies. And so when I recognized that, I was like, oh yeah, this is home. I
Yeah.
can do this. Yeah.
That's amazing. You correlated the family dynamic that you had with it being a home. And I think that's very influential too for anyone that's watching, on how business is business, but correlating that feeling of this is, comfortable and stuff. So let's talk about what was and what is now. Okay, this question applies to then and now, right? What was your biggest motivation when you first began?
Oh, hands down, it would have to be my children. They were my, biggest motivators. Of course, they didn't know it then because they were just babies. But I had to make sure that, we had a better life, and that I had to give them something to be proud of, and teach them that work ethic. So that was my biggest motivation back then.
And that's crazy that you say a better life, right? Because 17 years later, I have to ask you, were you able to fulfill a better home for your kids, in your opinion?
Oh, for sure. So like I had mentioned in the beginning, when I first started, the struggle was real, right? I was on Metro and I hated to ride the bus, but it was something that I had to do. And yeah, so now I'm no longer riding the bus after 17 years. I can say that. So yeah, things have definitely changed for the better,
Yeah.
and I've seen constant change and constant opportunities in the 17 years at Team Miller.
That's awesome. And look, as things change, your motivation may be a little bit different now. So I want to ask, is your motivation the same, or maybe more to the piece of motivation as of right now, where you stand in 2021?
Yeah, well, I think that my children, regardless of how old they are always going to be a big motivation to me. And they're, young adults now, most of them. So they are definitely still my motivation. But now that they are, growing and off to college and starting their careers or finishing up, high school, I'm more focused on and what really kind of motivates me now is developing new employees and mentoring them and helping them get to the next level. I really, really enjoy that, and that really motivates me.
That's awesome. And I think you kind of remember yourself, what it sounds like when you first started and that influential person you had. It sounds like you're now playing that influential person to others that are starting at the company, which that is like full circle. If that's not, I don't know what is.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, look, I constantly thrive at, learning new things, and, it motivates me to teach others and to help them get to the next level and grow. And I feel like if I continue to learn, teach, and help others grow, that, I've done my part. So that's
Yeah.
giving
Yeah,
back.
that's awesome. And we do have a comment from Sherry. Sherry saying, congratulations, Marcela, on being with D. Miller for 17 years.
Thank you, Sherry. We miss you.
Yes, I think that's a great comment, because for sure we all need to congratulate. So make sure everyone puts on the comment below, congratulations. So speaking of, where you started 17 years ago, which you said you applied for a receptionist, right? So I want you to talk to us a little bit about your pivotal moment that you had when you knew you had to step it up, or you wanted to see what else was out there within the company, and you decided to continue to grow within this company. What was that moment that you saw?
Well, it's funny that Sherry chimed in, because I was actually going to mention her. But let me just give you guys a little bit of my background. So 17 years, that's a lot, right, to be with the company. And I'm proud to say that it's 17 years worth of growth. So I started off as a receptionist, just real quickly to kind of give you guys an overview. Then I became a case manager in the PI department. Didn't know anything about PI. Darren kind of took me under his wing and taught me everything that I know in regards to PI. Was a case manager for a few years, then excelled to a demand writer, then became the top producer of the demand writers, and then ended up becoming a manager for the department. Then I started managing our new company, our Advocates Group. And I would say one of the pivotal moments of my career, and there's several, because, there was a lot of growth that I was able to experience. But one of the pivotal moments in the company was when our business office manager of 10 years, she left. She moved on. And that was a huge turning point, not only for me, but for the entire company. She helped lead the company. And we relied on, so many of us relied on her. So when she left, I really felt that need to like step up, because I had big shoes to fill, right? So I think that we were just on the cusp of a huge growth spurt at that time. So things were crazy busy and trending upward in a good direction. But we have, this person that's been a very pivotal part of our company for 10 years that's left. So all of us have to kind of step up our game. And like I said, we had very big shoes to fill. And I think that is one of the things that stuck out to me the most. Like, it's time to level up.
Yeah. No, I think that's amazing that you are telling us your story and how you've grown with the company, right? The company has also grown and evolved, right? So, I have to ask you, Marcela, along the way, what were some of the sacrifices you made, either within your career or even personally, whichever one you want to answer? But, with a job comes sacrifices. So what were some of those that you had to make?
Well, some of the, ones that I can think of off top were, I had to cut a lot of, me time out. There's a lot of things that I couldn't do because I had to stay focused, and some family time out. Definitely there was sometimes I had to kind of pick and choose, like, hey, am I going to miss this game and make it up, for the kids, and or miss this event? And, there were some things that I couldn't attend to everything when it comes to like family and kids, but so those are some of the sacrifices that I would have to say that stick out to me over the years. But that sacrifice definitely paid off in the long run.
And I think a lot of people can relate that are probably watching, that they have to make some type of sacrifices. So let us know if that is if you have any questions for Marcela that can definitely help on your journey. Along with that, there could be some other tokens, right? So did you have any fears that you may have developed or had beforehand that you had to overcome throughout your journey?
Sure. There were, a few, am I going to be able to keep up? It's just it's a juggling act, it's a lot, especially when you're, in different positions and you experience that so much growth. Like every time I remember moving to a different position, I had that fear of like, oh wow, am I going to be able to keep up? Am I going to be able to, be a leader and, be a good leader? And what does that mean? And so like those fears definitely naturally come up. But one of the fears I would have to say, and it still happens now sometimes, like being in a room with a room full of attorneys, right? Whether it's at an event or a conference or just, a conference or just a meeting, being in that room, especially early on with, a room full of attorneys that are strong-willed, highly educated, and here's little old me that used to be a receptionist whenever, and am I going to be able to keep up, with all these powerful people in this room? So that one thing is, always intimidating to me, and it still kind of resurfaces every now and then. But yeah, that's one of the fears that I have. Like, am I going to be able to keep up? Is one of the things. Yeah.
And I think that's good to also give, other people, because it depends on the industry, right? You're saying right now, attorneys, for other people, it may be doctors, or it may be, higher professionals, that might be a fear. And I think it's something normal that you have worked through. And I think you've been in a room full of attorneys several times. So talk about overcoming your fears. Along with fears come challenges, right? Fears is something that happens within yourself, your heart, but then there's challenges that you're faced with that you're always having to see within your career path. So let's talk a little bit about some of those challenges that you've been faced with that were probably difficult during your growing and evolving period.
I would say some of the challenges would be just like I said before, like, just the work-life balance, keeping up with that and knowing when to sacrifice, when to turn it off and turn it on, because, you can get overwhelmed by, just going hard at work and, just trying to stay focused and dedicated, but you have to know when to turn it off, turn it on and turn it off. So it's just that balance that is challenging. And although, I have 3 kids and I was a single parent for a while, it got easier over the years, of course, as the kids got older, but even now I still struggle with that work-life balance. So just, I think that that's the key to learn to turn it off and on.
Yeah. And definitely, yeah, I think that break is necessary because look, you started off by saying this has been more like a home, right? And that's a little bit challenging too, and turning off those work because it feels like home and family and all that good stuff. So that's also a good advice that you're given. So I know I'm giving you hard questions, but a little bit easier question. What has been the most important thing that you have learned throughout your journey? And you have to go back 17 years because there may be more than one, but the most.
Yeah, there's so much that I've learned throughout the years. But I think one of the things that I've learned the most, over almost 2 decades is to keep a growth mindset. I'm lucky to work with a boss that is always, trying to stay ahead of the trend and always, trying to, do new things and, whether starting a new business or, just elevating our business, just having that growth mindset and keeping there and always thinking about what's next, so we don't stay stagnant and we continue to grow and flourish like we have been.
Yeah, I think that's great and important. We do have some comments that are kind of flooding in, so I just have to make sure that you hear this beautiful positivity and love. So I have Sherry replying saying, and you are doing a great job. I am proud of you. So I have Ramesh saying, MJ. And then
formerly known as MG.
it used to be MG, and now you're formally as MJ is your initiative,
Correct.
which is beautiful. And then Jenny says, "Love you, Marcela. Such an inspiration."
Oh, that's sweet. Thank you, Jenny.
Yeah. And so I think that's great because some of the individuals that are commenting also have seen you grown, whether it's, getting married, getting a new last name, having a car, a house, all that good stuff. I think that's beautiful. And a lot of people are proud of you for what you've done. So I'm just so happy that you stuck with it. So it's speaking of, I just smiled by saying that, but I need to ask you, is there a moment that you sit back and smile on what what you have been able to accomplish? And I kind of would like to hear what your proudest moment with the firm is.
Well, so there's a lot of proud moments, right? Over the course of 17 years. And wow, it just seems like it's gone by so quickly. But like over the 17 years, I think one of the things that sticks out to me the most that makes me smile is when, or my biggest accomplishment, one of my biggest accomplishments was, purchasing the new home. Buying a new house. So I had a really, really rough experience before purchasing this home. I was in a fixer-upper, a townhome, and I'll just say it was a really rough experience. I don't know what I was getting into, getting a fixer-upper, but it was juggling that and kids, and it was a lot. It was a lot. So when I was able to finally buy a brand new home that no one has never lived in, that I didn't have to worry about, it's time for a new roof or it's time for a new AC unit. It was just a proud moment. And even after being in my home for about 2 or 3 years, I still drive up to the neighborhood or to my driveway sometimes. And I'm like, wow, like this is real.
Yeah.
I think just the icing on the cake for that was just the kids being at an age to where that they were able to intake all of that and see me go through that process in terms of buying a home. And like I can remember when Sean and I and Alea were driving through the neighborhood before they had even put the grass in, or before they were trying to fix it up, and the date that we were getting ready to close, and we were just so super excited about hey, we're about to be in our brand new house. So just them getting to experience that part of it was great. It was,
yeah. And that's definitely something to sit back and smile. And to this day, sit back and really be thankful for those accomplishments. And I think what's beautiful is that your kids are also able to appreciate those accomplishments versus when they were little, they didn't probably get to appreciate those accomplishments. So I think that's amazing. And I'm proud of your accomplishments as well and how you kept after it. And so I want to kind of ask, what has been your favorite, again, here we go with the one, go ahead and give me more if you have, your favorite memory that you have with D. Miller and Associates?
Well, like you said, it's hard because over that many years, there's a lot, right? But I can, the thing that stands out to me the most and what my favorite memories are is when we did the traveling with each other. And, we had an opportunity to go, on a yearly type of incentive, to different places. That was really fun because we got to know each other at a different level. We got to become closer and more personal outside of work. And then also just the accomplishment of being able to get that incentive at the end of the year for all of the hard work. Those were the greatest memories that I think I've had with D. Miller, for sure.
Yeah, that is beautiful. And I know there's pictures flourishing and, on the screen that you guys can see Marcela and definitely guess you could see her life in D. Miller and Associates. So the memories are definitely there. And that smile that you have is also present in these pictures. So if you could do it all over again, okay, would you choose the same path for yourself? And if not, what would you change that has been in your path?
Well, I would say that I would absolutely choose the same path, only because I think that, having all of this experience within the firm has helped me become and get to the position that I am in now. as an operations manager, you have to know the process, procedure, company inside out, right? Inside and out, and going through and growing with the company the way that I have. I don't think I would do anything. The only thing that I would do differently is speed up the process, right? To get here a little faster, but other than speeding up that process to get to where I am now, is the only thing that I would change. But I think it's really important that I sat in all of those seats, because it's made me who I am now within the company.
Yeah,
sure.
I think that's awesome. I think it's awesome that you're choosing your path again, that you took, because, even with all the lessons and the wins that we have, you've learned a lot. I think that's what we all need to take out of it. It's not necessarily could be bad. It's just a good lesson that you just apply it. So, I want to ask you, what does the future hold for you, for this company, for your peers? What does the future hold? The best that you can probably tell us.
Well, the sky's like the limit. There's limitless opportunities where we're at, and I'm a testimony to that. Coming in as a receptionist with very little education or college background, the sky is really the limit. So long as you work hard, you have a great work ethic, you're able to you're able to really focus and want to get to the next level. There's that opportunity, so long as you do your part. So I don't know. That's a good question. What's the future hold for me? I've been blessed to be able to almost kind of create my own position over the years. And I would say that I haven't just quite yet created my next position. But, with Mr. Miller starting new businesses all the time, I can imagine myself, right along that path with him and helping him, establish those companies, whether it, be another office in another state or, what have you. So I just think that there's limitless opportunities. It just depends on what's going on around us the next few years.
Well, that's exciting, number one, right? To kind of hear what maybe the future holds. It's very hard to determine the future, right? Until it's here and we're living in the present. But it's exciting what you're saying, right? And it's exciting what's that could be very tangible, right? I think that's super exciting to see what the next 3 years, whenever you get to 20, and then even beyond that, right? I would love to kind of keep picking your brain and during those times. So for anyone that's watching right now, that's either starting their career, their important journey, or in their career looking to do that leap of faith, whichever one it is, what advice would you give someone who is starting in their career or in a new career path?
I would say that one of the things that the advice that I would give is not to give up. If it's something that they're really passionate about and something that, they, really want to achieve, don't give up. And with that is going to come, sacrifice, dedication. But if so long as you stay focused, you should be able to accomplish big things.
Yeah, I think that's great advice. We have one more last comment. This comment is from Darren. Thanks for the loyalty, love, and great performance that only seems to get better over time.
Oh, you're welcome.
So yay, look, I wish I could scream at the top of my lungs, but if some of you guys are wearing headphones, I don't want to hurt your ears, but happy 17th year anniversary. It's such a pleasure to have you on the show. So thank you, Marcela, for really diving deep into your journey on, your experiences, both business and personal. I just want to thank you for taking us down to your journey.
Oh, no problem. Thanks for having me on the show, Madi. It was fun.
Yes. So thank you again. So we've had a pleasure today to have Marcela Jackson, the operations manager of D. Miller and Associates, and also other companies. So as you can hear, and if you guys missed it, please go back and watch it. But the relationship within a company is about loyalty. It's about dedication and giving your all and all your hard work. So please make sure that you give us a like, and thank you again for watching Talk to Me Tuesday and sharing it with your family and friends. Until next time.